really be doing. It's still legal, it's
Oh,
what
yes.
the cards do,
Yep.
but then what most cards typically do. So that tends to be the strat for these Sapphire decks. They want to find that ramp, whether it's turn 2 or turn 3. Predominantly turn 2 cards like Sail the Azure at Sea. Shout out to Sailor, who
Ooh.
is a player in the room today, very much known for this style of deck, the Sailor of the Azure at Sea, and of course Tipo, who's another great ramp tool.
Yeah, I think that I just saw a shiny enchanted Sisu going into the inkwell on Josh Polt's side of the board for his turn 1, and he passed.
The enchanted Sisu is uninkable, so I certainly
Oh.
hope not.
Oh, there was something shiny. Oh, thank you, Baker. There was something very shiny, and I thought, and they immediately.
I understand.
Oh.
These enchanteds, like that goof, that super goof that's got into the inkwell turn 2 for Josh. The glare is very much real, but we're going to ink that, and Tipo comes down, and we're going to ink a secret card from our hand.
I do feel like not having that popsicle on turn 1 is a little bit of leaving Josh at a little bit of a disadvantage.
100%.
But maybe not quite as much of a disadvantage for Josh as it would be for Andrew with it being an item build. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, the item build is very reliant on Maurice's workshop to be the way that we accumulate card advantage. Now, don't get me wrong, this Maurice's workshop can really get carried away. A 3-cost uninkable item, and whenever you play an item, you can pay 1 more ink to draw an extra card. So you want to get down these Maurice's workshops as soon as possible so that when you're playing things like the Porpsicles, other items in the deck, there's a Maui's Fishhook, there's a Great Stone Dragon in here, 3 copies of Fishbone Quill, and we do see that Lucky Dime.
Great Stone Dragon is a great card. That is the one that you can exert to put a card from your discard into your inkwell, and it's fantastic. And I've seen games that can ramp up so quickly using that Great Stone Dragon.
Yeah, no, this Great Stone Dragon obviously doesn't deplete from your hand as well. You know, Fishbone Quill is an inkable card that can ramp you very quickly, but it does cost you cards from your hand. So anytime you can use your discard as a resource, that's super cool. We're going to see the Scrooge McDuck come down, and Vitalosphere, was that found?
It was the only item that he found
Yeah.
in those 4 cards. So unfortunately, I think maybe he would have liked to see something else of one
The
of his
workshop,
one of
really.
it. Yeah, the workshop. Even the Great Stone Dragon that we were just talking about. Vitalosphere is not a bad card though.
It's an item.
It's an item, and it can really surprise players. You know, to have a character that's a big body come down and give them rush right away, plus
100%.
some extra strength. So yeah, it's not a bad item, but probably not what Andrew was looking for.
And really, like, so we are playing 3 copies of Belle, Apprentice Inventor, which is a 3-cost inkable character. She is a 3/3, and you can banish an item to play her for free. So these Ruby Sapphire decks that are traditionally very slow, they're taking a few turns to ramp. This turn, if you can get a Belle out turn 1, courtesy of a Porpsicle or a Fortisphere, then that can really help you combat the early board state. So not finding that Belle early is a shame. She's going to hit the Inkwell instead, but we do now
There's
find...
the workshop.
Yeah, the card that makes it all come together. We pay 3 for the workshop, we pay 1 for the Vitalosphere, and then 1 more courtesy of the workshop to draw a card.
Yeah, that Maurice's workshop it's a workshop. It really is. It's churning items, it's drawing you cards. It really can put in a lot of work for these item decks.
Business always open at Maurice's
Yes,
workshop.
indeed.
Man doesn't know the meaning of a day off.
Crazy old Maurice.
Crazy. He was here all night, raving. I mean, what? Anyway, it's full of memes, this stream. Anyway, the item deck does indeed play both copies of Tamatoa, both the Happy as a Clam, who on play, you can return 2 items from your discard to your hand. Returning double ice cream, double Porpsicle to your hand is pretty good, but not only that, this Tamatoa can quest and play an item for free. Free workshop, free lucky dime, Rebecca?
Free, it's too much. I mean, it's too little. You're paying too little for too much. It's fantastic. On Josh's side, he just played a Maui Shark. We talked about that being a really key card in this Shark build, very different from the item build, and that Maui Shark can do a lot of work if you can get some actions going.
Yeah, an incredibly powerful piece. Evasive for some reason.
For
some reason, the Shark is evasive. Has a 7/5 stat line and 2 abilities. One where we can return an action from our discard to our hand when we challenge. And forgive me, Rebecca. Chee-hoo!
Hey,
Whenever you
go.
play an action, you gain 1 lore, which is pretty good. And we already see a Sail the Azure at Sea in the discard.
Yeah, Maui is such a fun card, and I think that he is a fan favorite for sure. Maui Shark always putting in a lot of work. It's something that you have to deal with, right? Maui Shark needs an answer.
Sure does.
And what answers do you think that Andrew is looking for?
Well, that being said, you're absolutely right, Rebecca. This shark is like a
Oh,
must-answer character a lot of the time, and it can really shut down board states because you don't want to give it those free actions for
yeah.
challenging. However, in this matchup in particular, because we are Ruby Sapphire items with Dime, uh, we might be okay to just not turn anything sideways all game.
Yeah.
Build up, just slow our opponent down. We've got the Ruby removal cards. If we can just keep Josh on the back foot, build up our items, get down our lucky dime. Ruby Sapphire traditionally can play item removal. Can we double check if there are any copies of Hideaway
There's
or
one.
Cusco?
There's one, no Cusco's, but
No
there
Cusco.
is one single copy of Hideaway in Josh's deck, which is a fantastic card.
Yeah.
And if I recall correctly, you can put a location or an item into your inkwell, and it's kind of like a let it go, but for items and locations.
Exactly, but really the extra strength of putting it into the inkwell for that particular card is the Tamatoa So Shiny can recur items from the discard. There's no doing that from the inkwell. I think there's a Pongo that can let you look at your inkwell,
you can get puppies back, but that's the only thing.
That's not this matchup. That's not this match. It's not a very common ability. So yeah, really, like Josh,
once it goes into the inkwell, it's gone.
Yeah, exactly. So Josh is still under pressure here to, quest as quickly as possible, because if Andrea can build up these items, we've already got 3 Porpsicles on board and a Vitalosphere. Is that Vitalosphere actually in play?
It is in play, yes. So okay. He has 4 items out on the board right now, the 3 Popsicles and the 1 Vitalosphere.
So we have to be careful with this lucky dime, which is obviously the win condition here. The Hideaway.
I think that we missed it. The Hideaway did the workshop. Yeah, we were just talking about that. That's huge. Okay. That is huge.
But we can get it back with the shark is the really important thing here. Oh, we see it for the first time today. I nearly missed it. We see Be Prepared.
Ray got it. Yes. Thank you.
Liam is blocking his ears in the room next to me. I'm sorry, Liam. Nearly missed that one. We were evaluating all these items, but
there's so many exciting things going on in this game. The Hideaway and the Be Prepared coming down. Oh my goodness, yes.
What a day.
What a game.
But yeah, that Hideaway, getting rid of the workshop is huge. Removing that draw engine, and of course, there's only one in the deck, but the Maui half shot means that we can potentially recur it. So Andrea can still absolutely take that game plan of building up the items and then go for the Lucky Dime plus Tamatoa So Shiny quest, just win the game on the spot, but needs to respect the ability of Josh to get back that Hideaway. So how Andrea utilizes the Lucky Dime is going to be so pivotal in this matchup.
Yep. We also have that Sapphire Coil coming down, which is, to me, a bonkers card. Sapphire Coil is bonkers. Whenever you put a card into your inkwell, it's -2 strength to a character, and there's so many things that can come in handy for.
And we saw there the Sapphire Coil being put onto the wrist of the Tamatoa, happy as a clam, and then he was dragged into the Snuggly Duckling for a little brawl. Unfortunately, no longer has the strength to deal with it, so straight out the window goes Tamatoa. Brawling a Tamatoa just feels wrong, unless you're doing
it. I said, that Sapphire Coil is bonkers, and the Sapphire Ruby deck has so many cards that you can put, like you were talking about earlier with the ramping, putting additional cards into your inkwell, that if you have that Sapphire Coil out and you can be putting not just 1 card per turn, but more, like it can put in, Sapphire Coil can put in a lot of work.
Absolutely.
Hey, shiny.
There you go. There's the enchanted Tamatoa, happy as a clam, coming down. Same card, but this artwork absolutely stole the community's heart.
This is a card that I think that when it first came out, everyone was like, "That's the chase. That's the one."
I must give a shout out to RMB, who I know was like, "Oh, for goodness sake, I need 4 of these. I'm broke. I'm broke forever." And I think some other people felt the same way.
Do you remember on the Lorecast when they were opening cards?
Yes, I do.
I think it was Greg opened one in his pack on stream.
Yep.
That was
And
so
JD
fun.
did not get it,
He
which was the
didn't.
best part
He
of that
didn't.
story.
Yeah, JD already has one though.
But probably. Here's a card that's really. Me and Rebecca were actually talking about this before we came onto camera. That in Josh's deck, one copy of Vanellope von Schweet's Random Roster Racer. She's a 4-cost uninkable 3/3 quest for 2, and the Pixlexia ability. Has Rush, and then the Pixlexia ability. You gain evasive into the start of your next turn. A really wonderful answer to things like Diablo.
Yes, and a really wonderful answer to Automatoa is a Hades coming down. This Hades from the first chapter is such a classic, and you get to choose a character to put into the opponent's inkwell. And so he said that, I'm sorry, that card is too shiny. It's hurting my eyes, so you need to put it away. It's going
into the cauldron.
Into the cauldron. Down into the underworld it goes.
Absolutely.
And really, this is such an interesting position. I know Andrew has all these items out, but not being able to keep a character on board. I know that he had that Tamatoa in hand. I'm not sure what other characters he had. I think I saw a Sisu empowered sibling in his hand earlier, perhaps, but yeah, this is
not going to be able to answer these characters, I'm afraid. Obviously, we've got the lucky coil. The lucky coil.
The lucky coil. I mean, you're lucky if you can use the coil. 2 coils. Oh. Okay, now this sapphire coil stacks. Okay, so if you put 1 card now into your inkwell, both those sapphire coil, all 3 of those sapphire coils are okay. Now, so now we say you have that Sisu, and now guess what? We can say goodbye to your Maui Shark because we just gave it -6 strength because we put 1 card into our inkwell and all 3 sapphire coils activated. That was a play.
The Shark is a 1/5. That is not as impressive as a stat line. And yeah, the Sisu empowered sibling, 8-cost uninkable 5/4 quest for 3, shift 6, which is relevant because we do play the Daring Visitor and the ability banishing all characters. Notice the lack of choose or chosen gets around that ward keyword. Very important sometimes.
Yeah, losing that Shark, I think, is big for Josh.
It is.
He does have that Hades on board, and he is leading in lore right now, 8, and Andrew is sitting at just 1. But one thing about Ruby Sapphire that I know is that it's not over until it's over.
Absolutely
You could be sitting at 19 lore, and that game still could go the other direction.
For sure, because we already mentioned these big lore burst potential courtesy of Dimes or Shark and chaining actions. But there's another important card in both these decks that can help with catch-up mechanics. Yo ho, yo ho.
A pirate's life for me.
Exactly that. So that's a really interesting one. We did say Josh play how far I'll go. See the line where my deck meets my hand. It ramps me, and we're going to look at the top 2 cards of the deck. 1 goes into the inkwell, 1 into the hand. One of the best songs in this deck, easily.
Yeah, How Far I'll Go also is just one of my favorite songs from.
It's beautiful. Moana's fantastic.
Moana, in terms of modern Disney films, I think that Moana might be my second favorite modern Disney Day film. My first is going to go to Encanto.
Oh, Encanto's fantastic. Yes. I think I'm right there with you. I lean probably a bit more towards Moana, but both fantastic choices. And we do see, sticking with the Moana theme, the Maui's Fish Hook coming down. This is a 3-cost inkable item. If you have a Maui in play, any Maui, the hero to all, the shark, then you can use the Shapeshift ability on the hook for free. And the Shapeshift ability means that you can exert, you pay 3, unless you've got a Maui, and then you pay nothing. And then you choose to either give a character evasive until the start of your next turn, or +3 strength that turn. Really nice, diverse card that can help. It's really relevant to the meta, taking out genies and Diablos and stuff, and it's just an item, which is the name of the game.
Yes, or allowing your Sisu to take out a Hades in this case, which is what Andrew has done.
Pretty good.
So now clearing Josh's side of the board. Before he did it with the Be Prepared, and now he did it with just using those sapphire coils, that Maui's Fish Hook. How many copies? I know Maui's Fish Hook is usually a one-of. Yeah, it's a one-of.
With 2 Maui hero to all in the deck to go along. We're not playing any sharks in Andrew's item build, but 2 Maui hero to all. But that being said, you don't always need to, hey, if you do get it for free, then great. But we normally having to spare when we're a Sapphire deck, so sometimes just paying for it the old-fashioned way isn't the end of the world.
Yeah. Just now playing that Tamatoa, happy as a clam out and passing turn
These items really building up, though. We've got 3 Borbsicles, 3 Sapphire Coils, 2 Workshop, and a Maui's Fishhook for a total of 9 items. And, of course, a reminder, the Tamatoa So Shiny, which, if you're a newer player, I don't think we've seen it on screen today, but a Chapter 1 card who gains a lore for every item in play and whenever he quests. And when you play him, you can return an item from your discard to your hand. We're going to pop the Porpsicle. That signals the coming of another Happy as a Clam. Look, they're doing the Spider-Man meme.
So right, they're all pointing. No, you. No, it's you. It's you.
Well, no, they're pointing at their own shiny things.
You're shiny. Yes, they're all. I have all the shinies. No, I have all the shinies. And right now, Andrew definitely has all the shinies with those 2 enchanted cards. I love these enchanted arts. I love how each set, also the enchanted cards, are kind of different styles going along with the theme of the set. It just, I love it so much, and it's really fun to see them come out on the board from these players.
And Andrea questing for 3, taking us up to 4. Josh already halfway to game, sitting at 10 lore. But as we've been saying all along, the story of the Ruby Sapphire deck is the potential for huge lore bursts, and that's why you have to pay attention to these items. And worth saying again, the Hideaway is already in the discard pile, and I think we've gone through 2 Sharks, unless I missed more, but 2 Sharks have definitely hit the board this game already.
Yeah, and he is playing 4 copies of Maui Half Shark, of course, for this deck you want it. Yeah, and 4 copies of Maui here to all. He has all the Mauis. He has all the Mauis that he can have here. And
here we go. We might as well make the most of it for the second time today. Be prepared.
I really think that he needed that right there. Yeah. I think he really did.
100%, yeah. That Tamatoa plus Sisu was quite a lot to answer. We do have a pretty impressive group of cards in hand.
Yeah, we do, and he looks like he did take the shark. There was some other great choices there. He had the Sisu, but yeah, that shark I think is one that he wants to see out on the board again.
Yeah, 100%. We would love to be able to give it rush, but there isn't actually a way to do that in this particular version of the deck. So it's a bit slower, but still puts on a lot of pressure to the opponent.
Yeah, besides popsicles, Josh is not running any other items that I see. And then he does have 4 copies of that and 4 copies of the McDuck Manor, but that's the only... And then Vision of the Future. Those are the only non-character cards that he has in his deck, I believe.
Yeah, well,
Hideaway.
And the songs.
And the songs.
And the songs. I know what you meant. Yeah, the things that aren't songs either. Yeah. The items.
The things that.
There's so many in Andrew's
the things that stick on the board.
That's right. But yeah, Josh only playing the 4 Porpsicles, and that's all you need for these Happy as a Clam Tamatoas to get their value. And it seems this Maui's Fishhook putting in a lot of work is exerted, giving evasive to the Tamatoa. It's not even exerted, but you might as well do it right.
Right.
Just good habits to be in. If you've got the ink to spare, then just give your character the evasive.
Playing another Vision of the Future, we have a couple Pirate's Life. We have another Hades, which I think is a great one for him to grab. Putting that Tamatoa back into the inkwell again, and there it goes.
That's the second Hades.
Down into the underworld. Man.
Is there a downside to this?
There is.
I mean, the downside is you give them ink, but if something's got to go, then it's got to go. But that is the second Hades in the deck list, Illumineers. So once this Hades is got, but that's it. That's all of the Hades removal effects left for Joshua. Obviously, we still have a couple more B preps.
Yeah, he's playing 4 copies of B preps, and I believe that we've only seen Josh play 1 so far, if I remember correctly. And
2 have been played total, 1 for each player.
1 for each player.
Yeah, that sounds about right to me. The Sisu Daring Visitor is going to come down, which is a 3-cost uninkable, 1/1 quest for 1, but she has evasive, and on play you can banish a character with 1 strength. And you talked earlier about the Sapphire Coils, and we've got 3 on the board. They do stack, so 1 ink is enough to make any character -6. But down comes that lucky dime. The time has come.
Yeah, now we have to see, can he find that Tamatoa? So shiny. That's now what we are looking for with that lucky dime on board. This game could swing very quickly, Baker.
100%. If we find this Tamatoa so shiny, all we need is 10 ink, which I think we've already exceeded 10 ink, to be honest. So you pay 8 for the Tamatoa and then pay 2 to exert the dime, and then we will immediately gain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 lore. No, 11 lore, because there's 10 items on board, and then the 1 lore that the Tamatoa already has. So That's huge. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
He's
Okay,
counting.
even more.
Andrew's
11
counting is
items.
more. And he has a stack of cards there for his ink.
Yeah.
That is one thing with this Ruby Sapphire deck, is that you can have so much ink. That's 5, 10, 15, 16 ink
Yep.
that Andrew has on his side of the board. And
That'll do
then
it.
he does have the Tamatoa.
That'll do it. Well, it was not going to win the game straight away,
No,
but it's going to be a big burst.
Yes.
Worth mentioning, both these players are at 0-3 at the moment. Again, we have the best players in the world in this room, and these guys are both super accomplished. So
now,
they are playing for promos now.
They are. Now, if we know that Josh has tools to immediately put cards into your inkwell, or maybe he has another Be Prepared in hand, do you play the Tamatoa right now this turn, do you think?
If you think that you can get a couple more items down so that you can go to 20 lore in one turn, then you perhaps wait. That being said, if you have multiple Tamatoa, you can maybe afford to like have one take you to 16, 17 lore-ish, and then have it removed, and then all you need is either another Tamatoa or maybe even just like a Sisu who can give you another 3 lore. How many items do we have now? It was 11.
12.
12
Yep,
now.
we are at 12, and he quests for 3 with Sisu.
That's it.
And he's going to put down the Tamatoa here and then exert 2 for the lucky dime. And that is
GG.
game. That is GG. Fantastic game between these Ruby Sapphire, the Shark variant versus the Items deck. Both players playing these decks the way they were meant to,